Welcome to this week's episode of Merricks Garage. Today, I'm diving back under the truck. As you saw in my last video, we got the axle back under the truck, roughed in place. Today I'm hopefully getting all of the brackets for the front links tacked in place. Not the pan hard bar, but the frame brackets, and get some tube threaded on to the brackets on the axle and the frame. It's also going to give me an opportunity to redesign the transmission cross member, which the factory one works, doesn't provide that much protection. It basically just acts as a support for the transmission. But I do want to redesign it. I do want to come up with something that's going to be a little bit stronger than what I've got right now. So we're going to dive under, take some measurements, start taking stuff apart, and get after it. Merricks Garage, thanks for coming. This is where I've got my bracket tacked up right now. Now the axle has rolled forward from where it was, but you can see that I'm hitting the transmission cross member. So my plan is to move the cross member back to about here. The cross member is out. So I got the jack supporting on the transmission mount. So this is where I'm gonna have to build a new trans mount. But in the meantime, I get to move this guy back. Let's go do it. Before we go ahead and get knees deep into this, let's talk about some of the various parameters we're trying to get to align to create a usable, safe, reliable, dependable, durable, linked front suspension. Now, a linked suspension is going to be substantially improved over a leaf sprung suspension, but you gotta make sure you set it up correctly, and that is something that I have some reservations as to whether I'd be able to do it adequately. Off-Road Design's link kit takes a lot of the guesswork out of this. I still have lots of parameters I can play with, but a lot of the hard thinking has been done by the experts over at Off-Road Design. What I'm trying to accomplish today is to get the link brackets on the frame where they are going to give me the longest link I can, but also not have any interference with the frame, not have any interference with the exhaust, allow the axle to move through its full compression and rebound cycle without having massive interference from anything under the truck that I can't fix. Leave me with a good caster angle so that my steering doesn't get messed up, and still allow all the various parts like my drag link and tie rod and pan hard bar to fit underneath and articulate, and once again, not smash into each other. The main thing I'm trying to accomplish is to get my link lengths as long as I can within reason. Obviously, I'm not going to stretch them back to the rear axle, but having them at full length, 38 inches in this case, is going to be a benefit. It's going to allow for a flatter link angle, but because I've got the high clearance brackets on here from Off-Road Design, it's going to allow me to still maintain off-road clearance. I had some difficulty in putting my axle where I wanted it to, because when I had it where I first wanted it, it was too short. Moved it back, it was too far. Found a happy medium that gives me what I consider a respectable wheelbase, gives me good mobility and travel throughout the entire suspension cycle, gives me a nice flat link, and doesn't interfere with anything else. So pretty excited where it's come together. I can set my caster by adjusting the lengths of the upper and lower link arms, keeping them as close to the same as I can, and minutely adjusting them with the threads. I can get my caster angle to be where I want it to be. I've also got it so that the front axle is pushed forward as far as I can. That way I'm not going to have any interference with the rear sheet metal. I'm limiting my exposure to axle to engine interference, and I'm improving my approach angle to obstacles. So a win-win-win in all those situations. It has taken some fine-tuning and moving things around to get it to where I want it to be, but I'm pretty happy where it's come out. Okay, here's the bracket in place. The links are in. Everything's tacked. I haven't welded the bracket in yet, but as you can see, it's roughly where it's gonna be. Link lengths look good. Links are nice and parallel. The clearance on the frame is good. It's just a matter of finding the happy place for this guy. Getting it tacked up in there. It's on. You can see now I've got huge long front links, which is pretty good. This is where the bracket comes to. I mean, I'm way behind the old body mount. I could have left my old body mount in, but it would have probably interfered. So I'm gonna tack this in place and move from here.
Prior to tacking everything on, I found it easiest to drill a hole through the frame where the upper bracket mount was going to be bolted. That would enable me to maintain position and get everything fixed and located before I welded it up.
Okay, since I've got one of the link mounts on, it's very important I get the next one in the same spot. So that's difficult, moving the axle, the frame brackets, the link lengths, and getting them all to meet at the same point. So I'm having a little bit of challenge with it. But I think what I've done is gonna work. I've got the axle suspended off the engine cross member. That's gonna allow it to pivot side to side and front to back, but still maintain, hopefully, centralized position. I'll show you what I mean. So you can see my links up here, roughly in place. This one is the one I'm working on right now. Down here. And then moving over here, you're gonna see, there you go, I've got the axle strapped. So that's gonna give me side to side. And the links are starting to line up fairly decently. We're getting there. I'm trying to film as much as I can for you guys. I apologize if it's kind of jumpy in here, just because I'm working my nuts off and then grabbing my camera and trying to record as much as I can. So I hope this is what you guys are looking for. Boom! I got a lot of work to do, and it's gonna be dark soon. Shoot.
Well, it did take 3 different placements of the axle bracket to get where I wanted. But this is as close to where my axle was before I pulled the leaf springs. My wheelbase was about 108 inches, so pushed forward about 1.5 inches over where it was stock. That gave me good clearance on the wheel wells, gave me good approach angle, and fortunately with everything set up here, we're clearing body to axle and link to frame. Everything lines up good. I'm stoked.
Okay, here's a little public service announcement. Always make sure you've got multiple points of support underneath your vehicle. The axle just came down. Not that bad because it was supported in multiple places, but still, freaking sketches me out because basically this truck's being held up by these two front jack stands and one in the center now. Yeah, so word of the wise, it's not worth dying under your truck. But you know it's alright, I had Seek and Destroy by Metallica going, so I'd have probably kicked ass anyway. So here is one of the Johnny joints that we're using. You'll notice I wrote R on every side of the lock nut here. That's so I know which way they're threaded. There is going to be a left and a right hand thread, and that way as you are tightening one end, you're tightening the opposing left-handed thread too. Now this is the engagement I was talking about. I want to make sure that I have adequate engagement between the threads and the lock nut that is going to be welded into the tube. Too little engagement, I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see that right there, but too little engagement is gonna put undue stress right here. The good rule of thumb is for the size of the bolt, that's how many thread engagement you should have. So for a 1.25 inch heim, I should have 1.25 inches of engagement. That's putting me right about there. You can see that's still a decent amount of engagement from here to here, and I'm pretty happy with this. Also, make sure that when you are putting these into the brackets that you still have access to your Zerk fittings. There seems to be a tendency to put them up out of the way so they don't get knocked off. These things are so cheap and easy to replace that I just put them where I can get to them. If it gets knocked off, I thread another one in there. I'm pretty happy with everything has lined up. I've got the tires on now so I can show you guys exactly the interference I'm getting from the body where it hits. But yeah, it's lined up, so let's raise it up. So that is getting me about 7 inches. I think I'm gonna raise the engine cross member or remove the cross member. That's gonna give me some more clearance. But up here, with the tires, we're not having too many problems. And that's at roughly ride height. I'm gonna go ahead and set the caster angle now as closely as I can. First, I need to measure what it's at, and then by lengthening or shortening, I can adjust the caster of the steering knuckle and make sure both sides are matching. Let's see where we're at. -2, let's 0 it. And I used that so I wouldn't have to put these on the ground because you can see, well, they're not really enough to make a difference, but better safe than sorry. Throw your wife's iPhone on the floor. Showing about 3 degrees. I want to be between 5 and 6. Okay. Let's go take a look at the other side. $7 degrees. So I got a little bit of adjustment to do here. And there we are, we're sitting at 6 degrees of caster on the passenger side. Let's go take a look at the driver's side. here's our driver's side. I think we're good. Hey, little dude, is it tight?
Yep.
Centered?
Yep.
I'm reading that as 107 3/4. Is that pulled tight? Okay, let's go check the other side. I'm taking that. That's good. Nice work, son.
Once I've got the axle in the place that I'm happiest, meaning that my numbers are matching, my measurements are accurate, my caster's good, I'm going to run this thing through the compression and rebound cycle many, many times to look for anything that might interfere, anything that might possibly come in contact. Now, right now, I'm just doing the compression cycle and rebound cycle. I'm not doing any articulation. That will come later. My objective at this point is to make sure that I don't have interference for the drive shaft, that the link arms are not hitting anything on the frame, and that anything that is going to come in contact with the link arms, I can mitigate by moving them or realigning, and that everything all coincides and plays nicely together. So this has taken quite a bit of work, but I'm really happy with how it's lined up. Wheelbase is good. I'm ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, that is some serious droop. I'm gonna limit strap this, but I wanted to test the extension and see how the drive shaft did. Drive shaft still looks good. Some serious droop. All the links are now measuring 38.5 inches. The caster is set at 6 degrees. The only thing that I'm missing from perfect alignment is the axle appears to be shifted over. I don't know if you guys can see that, but the frame is a lot further away than it is over on this side. That's kind of hard to see. So wheelbase is equal, caster angle is equal, link lengths are equal. The only thing I'm missing is the side to side, which I'm gonna have to get with the panhard bar in. That's the purpose of the panhard bar, is to keep the axle centered under the vehicle. So that's gonna be my next step, getting the drag link put in, tie rod put in, panhard put in. Then I'm gonna start putting in the shocks and shock hoops and all the other cool stuff. So I'm fired up, I'm tired, this has taken a lot of work, but measure 48 times. And only tack it to your frame 3 times. I think that's a new personal best for me. So if this was helpful, click that subscribe button, give me a like, give me a comment, you know what to do. Merricks Garage. Peace.